Oh shoot. Let's tame these flyaways. Hello, this is Jade and I'm going to be doing a first impressions on Anastasia Beverly Hills new makeup release for spring 2019. I got the Riviera palette and the Dewy set. Dewy set along with the loose highlighter in Snowflake and two of the new dip brow gel in ash brown and ebony. So I won't be reviewing these in this video. I have a separate video where I give you my thoughts on the new dip brow gel and I compare it with the original dip brow in a pot. So that video will be linked once it's ready. It should be coming up after this video. So for today's video, I am going to do a first impressions of the Riviera. That will be the focus of this video, and then using the Dewy set and the Snowflake highlight. So they're very glittery metallics, except for this color Yacht. Yacht is like a true fine metallic, and they're very pigmented. I would say they're consistent with Anastasia eyeshadows. Yacht would be similar to the metallic in Modern Renaissance and Soft Glam, and then the rest of these metallics are very similar to the more chunky glittery metallics in the Sultry palette and even some of the shades in the Riviera palette. So I think a lot of people will like this over their velvet. Even though the velvet looks really pretty, it gets super dirty and gets stains really quick, and if you have dog hair, the dog hair gets stuck to it as well. So the bottom rows are all matte, and then that white is a matte too. Bahamas and cans are pressed pigments. Pressed pigments are pure pigments, I believe, and they have less binding material, so they might be a little bit more difficult to work with, but they are super pigmented. A lot of the colorful eyeshadows in the James Charles palette are pressed pigments, and Jeffree Star's Blood Sugar palette has pressed pigments too. They tend to stain my eyes, but they might not affect your skin. And then Monte Carlo has a little bit of shimmer in it. It's a matte with some mild shimmer, and the palette also comes with their typical ABH brushes. I really like these brushes, especially this side. I love to use this side to pack on color. Oops. And then the other side is pretty decent for blending too. So I just primed my eyes using the P. Louise base in white. I just saw some drama going on with Twitter regarding the P. Louise base, and people are trying to cancel her because of a word she said while singing a song at a concert, and she's not supposed to say that word. So now people are talking about getting a new primer. I didn't really look into that situation, so I'm not exactly sure what happened. I haven't seen the video or anything, but I mean, I'm always looking for a good primer. I'm gonna go in with the color Bahamas, and I'm just going to use Bahamas, and I'm just gonna use the brush that comes with the palette. Tap it off. Usually Anastasia palettes have a lot of fallout, so you definitely need to tap it off. I have some creasing on my eyes from the primer, so I'm just blending out the creases. I did not set my eyes, putting that pink down the first half of my eye. It's pigmented, but I have to build it up a few times. And then I'm going to blend out the edge with a small round blending brush. I feel like the eyeshadow is kind of blending away. Let me put on some more pigment on the brush and then blend it out. I'm gonna go in with that purple shade Cans. Okay, so purples are notorious for difficult to formulate, so let's see if this is a good purple. So purples that I think are good are the purple in the Juvia's Place Zulu palette. That's really nice. The purple in the James Charles palette is really... My camera shut off in the middle of the purple cans, so I'm not really sure where I left off. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to pack on that purple. I took the pink out a little bit too far, but that's okay. So I'm just going to tap on that purple, and it's best to build up the color instead of putting on a bunch at a time, because when you put on too much pigment, that's when it can become patchy, and I can kind of see that happening. But I remember ABH did put out a video, I think during the whole subculture gate, to not put on too much color at the same time. So I'm not sure if you can see, but I feel like it's a little bit patchy. There's like a huge dark spot right there, and then it looks very faded right there. Trying to blend out that little patch as well. So initially it was patchy right here, and then now it's kind of patchy on the edge. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm having trouble blending this part out. It looks like I have a bruise discoloration on my eyes. I'm going to try something different on this eye. I just primed it and I'm going to set it. I didn't set the other eye, and maybe that was the issue. So I'm taking the white from the palette and I'm going to gently set this. I mean, I'm really trying to give this palette a fair chance, and I believe that even this is just a first impressions. If something doesn't work right away, that doesn't mean that you can't make it work. So right away I noticed that the pink did apply better. The pink looks more pigmented than the other side, and I am having an easier time blending it out. So I think setting it is helping so far. The true test will be with the purple. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. I'm putting on the purple and I'm gonna make sure to tap it off. Maybe even tap it off on my hands so that I don't put too much on in one spot. And I'm just going to slowly build up that purple. Okay, so by building up slowly and setting the eyeshadow, I noticed right away that it's definitely not as patchy. I was a little bit too heavy-handed on this side. Okay, so on this side that's patchy because I didn't set my eyes. I'm having trouble blending the purple and the pink together. And on this side, I set it with the white and everything is blending so much better. And I do remember during the whole Subculture Gate drama, Nervina and the ABH family did mention that it's best to set your eyes when using their eyeshadows. And that is definitely the case with this palette, with these particular colors that are pressed pigments. Okay, so I cut the crease of this eye. I used a wipe. This is not a makeup wipe. I ran out of makeup wipes. This is actually a dog wipe. It's natural, Nature's Miracle. This is fantastic. It really helps with deodorizing your dog. However, I do not recommend it for the eye. It took off some of the eyeshadow, but not a lot. So please do not try dog wipes at home. This was all I had and I was desperate for a makeup wipe. So I am going to go in with this gorgeous blue shade. So this is how it looks dry. Wow, that's really pigmented dry. I don't even feel like I need to wet my brush. I am getting a little bit of fallout, but not too bad. So what I've noticed is the fallout isn't so bad. It's not falling all over my face. Normally ABH shadows, because they're so pigmented and so soft, they do tend to have a lot of fallout. But I think this palette has the least amount of fallout. So I'm going to wet my brush now. Now I'm going to put Mediterranean between Seychelles and the purple cans. Again, I'm going to go in dry and then I will wet my brush. That's it for the look. Oh shoot, I just got primer all over my hair. I forgot. That's why you don't leave wet makeup on your arms. You'll end up getting it everywhere. So the metallics are so soft. I don't know if you can see, but they're almost crumbling in the pan, like right here and here. That's where I put my fingerprint in and it kind of dented. I turn down the lights. The fallout isn't bad with this palette at all. There was a little bit of fallout when I used that green metallic, but nothing too bad. But fallout isn't really a big deal to me anyway. But I know for some people it is. So if Anastasia shadow fallout drives you crazy, this one is definitely a lot better than their other eyeshadow palettes in terms of the fallout. I'm going to take this little cute Jeffree Star Cosmetics Queen Bee color and line under my waterline to make it really pop. It's really hard to do this on the camera. Okay, then we're going to take that purple cans and put it on the outside edge. I'm going to take a shell. And then I'm taking the pink shade Bahamas. Okay, and then now I'm going to take that gold Inheritance. And putting it as inner corner highlight. This gold is also so pigmented that you don't really need a setting spray. It is getting so late. This took me way longer to film. So I want to try to use one more eyeshadow coastline. Let me see if I can use that as a blush. But it blends out very smoothly. It is very pigmented as blush, but it's not meant to be used as blush. Okay, so now let's use the loose highlighter in Snowflake. This is brand new. Oh, the sticker is still in there. We'll peel off the sticker. Shake the loose highlighter out. Oh my gosh, this literally looks like snow. It literally looks like snow. So cool. So I'm going to use it dry first. This was the last snowflake. I'm kind of glad that I got this. It looks so wet, like wet glittery goodness. It reminds me of the Fenty Beauty How Many Carats, except that one is more glittery. That one is just straight up glitter on a clear base. Oh my god, my nose is running. Excuse me. It is a little bit messy. There's like snow all over my desk. Okay, that's really pretty. I'm glad I got this shade. I'm going to use it wet as well, but first let's see what kind of lipstick we should do. Should I do something colorful? Or should I stick with something nude? Okay, this is cute, but I don't think I can stick with this. Okay, I feel like the lips are taking away from the eyes. Okay, so that's it for the look. I'm not so sure I'm digging the lips. I just put on a nude lipstick and then I put this Tarte's lip paint. It's a lip gloss. The last step is to use the Dewy set. So this doesn't have any glitter in it, it's just the bottle is glittery. So I'm going to spray my face and then add more loose highlight. I like to spray my eyes to give it a wet look as well. So this is pretty much the same bottle as the MAC Fix Plus, which I really like. The spray is decent. It doesn't shoot out at you too much, but it's not as fine as it can be. It smells like coconuts. So let's go back in time. I wanted to show me using the Dewy set before I put on foundation. It diluted my foundation and did make my base very glowy and hydrating. I'm going to add on more highlight. Wow, spray this. So this is my final look with the new collection from Anastasia, Beverly Hills. I feel like a mermaid swimming in the French Riviera. Super bougie. So I really like the color selection that I have on my eyes. However, I'm not so sure what other colorful eye looks you can do except with these, because there are pretty much only 2 colorful mattes, and then the rest are pretty neutral. So if you're looking for a neutral palette with some fun pops of colors, this would be a good palette for you. If you don't like color, then I don't see the point of having this palette. So for me, I wish the palette had more colors and less neutrals. That's just a personal preference because I do have a lot of neutrals. But the formula is very good. It's consistent with the rest of Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows, but with less fallout. The mattes I felt had less fallout. Usually the fallout would be all over my face, but not this time. The metallics are very soft pressed. You have to be careful. They can break in the pan. I dropped my Soft Glam eyeshadow palette and the metallics just shattered everywhere in the pan. So I'm pretty sure if you drop this, the same thing would happen. So the metallics on the top row are all very glittery. They have reflects of different colorful glitter in them, which are very nice, but it's very fine, so it doesn't look too chunky. And then this one is the smoothest metallic, as I've mentioned at the beginning of the video, Yacht. The mattes blended very nicely. You do have to, I recommend that you do set your eyeshadow primer, because I was having patchy problems on this side, but then this side blended much better after I set it. So when the primer is too wet, it can become patchy. So overall, I think this is a fun palette. Do you need it? I'm not so sure. I still have to play around with it more. I mean, again, I feel like it's not colorful enough for a color lover, and it's not neutral enough for someone who wants an everyday palette. So it's kind of that in between. So I guess it would be good for someone who wears mostly neutrals but want to play with a little bit of color to go to a festival or something. So it can be multifunctional in that way. I wish that in the future they will come out with an all color palette. That would be a dream come true, because they do have one of my favorite formulas, and not only that, I really like their the themes they have as well. So for the Dewy set, this made my skin look like glass. As you can see on camera, it's so pretty. I'm going to continue to use this Dewy set, and it really melted the loose highlight into my skin. As you can see, I got the color Snowflake, and it is absolutely blinding. So when you use the loose highlight, you really have to use it with the Dewy set. The loose highlight, it looks very chunky in the pan, and when you put it on their face, it is chunky, but then once it's wet, it just melts into the skin, and it becomes very blinding, and you can also build it up to full opacity. It is a little bit messy though. It gets everywhere. So that's about it for my first impressions. Oh yes, and I do have a separate video on the new Dip Brow Gel. Please check that video out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Because I am so awesome to go this extra mile, here are some swatches with no primer, and I only did my finger in a couple of swirls.